Hi, this is Okapi540. I'm just here to report my thoughts about the Mario movie, which I just saw. It's been a while since I've done a reaction video, but I did one for Detective Pikachu, so might as well do one for this one. I didn't do one for any of the Sonic movies. Overall, I would say, look, I'm a huge Mario fan. I've played almost every Mario game. What I would say is that this movie was about on par with, let's see if you can see this, Paper Mario Color Splash. If you've played this game, it's about as good as this one. It's okay time, something enjoyable, something to do. There are some parts that'll get you chuckling, some parts that'll be like, wow, hey, that was kind of a good idea, or that was a neat idea that I had there, right? But you know, at the end of the day, you played or you watched Paper Mario Color Splash and not Thousand Year Door. And that's just what it is. I broke down some of my thoughts on some of the different topics. I thought the plan to enlist the Kongs was mildly interesting. Mario and Luigi being stuck in the Mushroom Kingdom and having to get back home. I mean, we saw that in the original Mario Brothers movie, but it was here too, and I thought it was more interesting in this one. I enjoyed the Brooklyn segments. In fact, I hate Illumination Studios, but I tried to go into the movie with as open of a mind as possible, because I know some people have been wanting to see this with me, and I saw this with a really good friend for his birthday, and you know, I didn't want to be a crabby pants for it. And I actually started out feeling pretty positive. The Brooklyn segments were, I thought, totally fine. It was cool seeing Mario and Luigi just doing plumbing work. Felt a little Illumination-y, but nothing crazy. The movie actually opens with Charles Martinet as Mario, and but I didn't know that, and I was excited. I was like, oh, Chris Pratt's actually doing a really good job here. Way better than I thought he was doing. But it was Charles Martinet. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I thought Chris Pratt did a fine job. I thought he would do a very bad job going into the movie, but it was fine. It felt okay. I guess this is getting a little ahead of myself, but in general, I felt a lot like how I do watching the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, right? Where you're watching it and it's Mario, but none of the characters really act or sound like Mario, but like it's okay because it's just a TV adaptation. I was originally really unhappy before seeing the movie. I was really unhappy that the portrayal of Princess Peach was so inauthentic to how she is in the games, but you know what? Watching it, a whole bunch of other characters are inauthentic, and I don't think that's to the movie's detriment necessarily, and I don't think that's that the writers were like being mean or nasty to the games or anything. Donkey Kong is different, Cranky Kong is different, Mario himself is kind of different. He doesn't sound the same, but you know what? It's like it's an adaptation. It's like the Mario Brothers Super Show. It's gonna be different, and at the end of the day, that's whatever. It was cool seeing Mario's parents in Brooklyn for sure. That family, that was something I thought was interesting. The plot in between the Brooklyn segments, particularly after Mario meets Peach, was kind of like, but not in that it was poorly written, just in that it was like not written. Okay, it was again. This is what we're comparing this movie to. Color Splash, and if you've played Color Splash, the story is about as good as Color Splash's story. Okay? And I'm not saying that as somebody who hated Color Splash. I didn't hate it. It's just okay. And the story, I'm telling you, if you want a game to compare this movie's story to, it's not the same story as Color Splash, but it's the same amount of quality. Okay, same amount of characterization, roughly the same amount of laughs, and same amounts of not living up to potential. Honestly, if you're looking for a good Mario story, don't watch this movie, and don't play Color Splash. Find yourself a copy of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Rumor is that it's gonna get re-released. Fingers crossed it does. Play that. Play Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Or if you want the best of the best, Paper Mario 64, which has it has a story very similar in some ways to this movie's story, but a million times better. If you're looking for like a basic Mario story, it's not something with lots of intrigue and stuff, not something that's set in a faraway land or anything like that. You're just looking for like Bowser kidnapping Peach, Bowser trying to romance Peach, stuff like that. Play this game. It's that type of story, million times better. One of my, it's hard to call it one of my favorite stories. Definitely one of my favorite Mario stories, though. And Bowser, who was pretty good in this movie, Bowser, to me, made me think a lot of, you guessed it, Paper Mario 64 Bowser, which is his best appearance. You want more of Bowser like he was in the movie? You like that stuff, like how he acted and stuff like that? Play this game. He's even better in it. I liked Mario. I liked Donkey Kong. Toad was okay. Bowser was good. I agree with the critics on Bowser. That was a good performance. Luigi was okay. Charlie Day actually was the voice actor I liked the least, I thought. He really took me out. Every time I heard Luigi, I thought I was watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And Peach, they made her a girl boss character. As a fan of strong female characters, girl boss, that trope is so overused and kind of lazy. There's a million ways to write strong female characters, and the girl boss is just like, you've seen it a million times, and there's nothing crazy or outstanding here with Peach, but she's an alright character. If you're okay with her being totally different from in the games, she's fun. Nothing too crazy about that. On the topic of characters, though, probably my biggest problem with the film, it was frustrating me the entire time I watched it. I'm a huge Avatar and Legend of Korra fan, and I just finished a rewatch of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. And just this morning, I was watching a video on YouTube it's called The Incredible Women of Legend of Korra. You could check the video out. Just talking about like all the great female representation in Korra, which I agree with. And like watching that's how you do female representation in shows and movies, right? You don't just have one girl character. You should have multiple characters who are female. Some of them are flawed, some of them are perfect, some of them are bad guys who get beaten, and some of them are good guys who win and save the day. Like you shouldn't just have one girl in the entire movie representing an entire gender, and that's what this movie does. I don't know why. It's really dumb. Peach is the only out after Brooklyn. Brooklyn has a Pauline cameo, which is fine, and Mario's mom is in it. But in the actual Mushroom Kingdom, Peach is all you get. You see Dixie Kong in one brief shot, doesn't say anything. Peach is literally the only the only female character in the Mushroom Kingdom with voiced lines. Toadette's even just a poster, and that's dumb. It's so dumb. It was frustrating me the entire movie. There's no Daisy, there's no Toadette, there's no Rosalina, there's no Vivian. I don't know why they would have Vivian, but there's no Goombella or Bombette or Madame Flurry or Bedsmith or Cackleta or any female character in the Mario series other than Peach. Not even some female Toads running around. All the Toads have male voices, and Miyamoto says that Toads are actually intersex isn't quite the right word. They're just sexless, asexual, except not in the romantic way. They just don't have a sex. And you know what? That's fine. So you could
argue that those Toads aren't male, but they're all voiced by male voice actors. All right, Toadette doesn't have an actual appearance. There's no other girl Toads like there are in this masterpiece, which, by the way, is full of interesting female characters. Cammy's not even in it. It would have been an easy second female character to include. Cammy Koopa, just put her in instead of Kamek. Cammy is more interesting than Kamek anyways, and would have filled this role just fine, but that was really frustrating. It made me cranky through the vast majority of the film. I kept being like, why, who greenlit this? Who in Hollywood was like, oh yeah, in today's Hollywood, let's make a movie with only one female character. And by the way, she's an overused stereotype. She's the cool girl stereotype. And that's the only girl in the whole thing. That really frustrated me, even though Peach herself was like, okay. Really frustrated. Oh, you know what? They had a Luma. I wonder if that Luma was voiced by a girl. That shouldn't count. And that would be embarrassing if you're like, you know, if that's your like, oh hey, it's not that bad. That one Luma had a girl's voice. Anyway, I don't mean to rant on and on about that. It's just something that frustrated me watching the movie. I think, I could be wrong, I think even Color Splash has more girls in it. In addition to Peach, it has Wendy O. That's 2. I think there may have been another girl in it. Oh, Birdo's in this, so that's 3. Color Splash, in fact, has more girls in it than the Mario movie made by a Western studio, which should know way better than that. As for the setting, I thought the locations were bright, vibrant. A lot of the animation looked really nice, looked better than Illumination's typical fare. Colors really popped. I like that quite a bit. There wasn't a lot of variety in the environments, and a lot of them had these weird, like, I don't want to call them 2D because it was a 3D movie and you could like just go around it, but it looked like the world was a side-scrolling world, and that there's like linear paths of blocks all over the place that people just walk on. That didn't make any sense to me, all right? Again, hate to bring up this, but hey, I'm a Mario fan, and this is the best Mario game, okay? Full stop. Best Mario game. Paper Mario 64 takes place in the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's full of interesting locales. And you know what? It doesn't have to resort to weird stuff that doesn't make sense. Look, lines of blocks, that makes sense in a platformer game. I'm totally behind it. I'm not playing Super Mario World and asking myself, what's up with all these blocks? That doesn't make sense. It's totally fine. In an actual world, like in Paper Mario or in this movie, didn't make any sense at all. At all. Who built this stuff? Why is it set up this way? That took me out of an otherwise pleasant, if unmemorable, setting. I liked how some of the series' music was incorporated into the soundtrack. There were some moments I was like, hey, that's cool hearing that played, especially during the credits. That was neat. I did have, not to sound like a negative Nancy, but in this case, Color Splash had it beat. All Color Splash had great music, great soundtrack. And this movie had like an okay soundtrack with some good remixes. They only pulled from a small number of games though, and there were many situations, although I can't think of any off the top of my head, there were many situations in the movie where I think they should have pulled from a different game. Like, they're really only pulling from the 2D side scrollers, 3D Land, 3D World, and there was like one song from
one song from Super Mario 64. It's not that great of a selection. Like, those games have good music, and it sounded fine in the movie, but, like, there's a lot more that you can pull from. Like, what about Bowser's theme from Paper Mario 64, which is iconic. Bowser walks into the room, bam! Great song. Should have done that. Just saying. Just saying. Go play it. Paper Mario 64. Animation, yeah, animation looked good. And then, like, just to wrap things up, overall, it was am I glad I saw it? Well, I'm glad that I took a friend to see it. I hope he was glad he saw it. If he's not glad he saw it, then maybe I have other things. But it was a fun thing to do with a friend. If you don't have anything better to go do, yeah, go check it out. Feels bad giving money to Illumination, but they've broken $1 billion, so you know what? It doesn't matter if you give money to them. They've made their money. It was a decent time. Now it's a movie I can cross off the list. If we're comparing it to other video game movies, though, it was better than the first Sonic movie. That one was terrible, I thought. Second Sonic movie, feels like I have a lot of negative things to say about this movie, but this movie's good stuff. It was there. It's just not that interesting to talk about its strengths because it's like Color Splash, where it's kind of just bland. I think it was better than the second Sonic movie. That's kind of where I'm at now. Detective Pikachu is definitely better than this one, and don't let anybody tell you that this Mario movie is an example of a great video game film, or that it shows that video game movies are good now, or anything like that. Don't listen to them. You want a good video game movie, hop on YouTube. It's there for free. It's dubbed or subbed, whatever you prefer. Go watch Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva, because that is an actual good video game movie, both as a movie and as an adaptation of a video game. Professor Layton, the Eternal Diva, that's the standard you should be comparing these films to, and Detective Pikachu is the only one that comes anywhere close to the Eternal Diva. All right. Did I leave the theater excited for possibly a Zelda movie? Okay, maybe a little. But do I think a Zelda movie would be good? No. I'd have to see it to believe it. Especially when they're going this route instead of the Layton and the Eternal Diva route and actually making a good movie. Overall, this movie met expectations. It was an Illumination film, so it isn't anywhere near great, but it had a lot of backing by Nintendo, so it wasn't terrible. I was surprised to see Satoru Iwata's name, my hero, Iwata's name was in the credits. So this movie must have got in the works like 2015 at the latest. Kind of surprised me. I don't think we knew about it back then. I had some good laughs. I was entertained. I identified with the Luma character, but then the Luma character gets overused, so then I didn't like them anymore. But, you know, it was a decent time. Overall, this is the quality of the movie that you're getting. It's an okay time. You'll have some chuckles playing it or watching it. Here it is if it's not in focus. Color Splash. It'll be a good time, and there'll be some positive things that you take away from it. Then afterwards, you're going to reflect back on it and be like, oh, all that time I spent playing this game or watching that movie, I could have been playing Super Mario World, or Super Mario Brothers 3, or Super Mario Galaxy 2, or the best Mario games, Dream Team, or
Actually, 3D World might be better than Dream Team, but the real best ones, TTYD or Paper Mario 64. Yeah, instead of watching that movie, you could have gotten started on this bad boy, and you would have had a better time. So it doesn't really justify its existence. But those are my thoughts on the Mario movie. Or you could play the Sealed Palace. That's what I'm doing. Having a real good time with that one. That's my thoughts on the movie. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. If you agree with what I had to say, or if there's something you disagree with, that's fine to let me know. I can take it. It's just I don't have a lot of attachment to this movie. And that's all. If you watch this, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Where I live, it's rainy. Hope it's nice and sunny and dry where you are. Take care. Stay safe. Make sure to hydrate yourself. And stay cute.